So when we were laying out our footings, we of course wanted to make sure that we dug all the way down below frost line. At grade, we topped off our footing with a 12-inch square. And that just sort of plays off the square 6x6 posts. And I just like the aesthetic of it rather than a round footing. They should be pretty much all 12 inches. Make a mark at the center of each footing on the edge of the footing. It's probably gonna be right at 6. And you can do both sides, Tani. We wanna make sure that our hardware is centered on these pier pads here. But visually, we also wanna make sure that it just looks nice on the footing as well. Let's go and snap across north to south first, and then we'll go the long way after. This is just to set a reference line, just to kind of see where we're at with the centers of these footings. Then we'll check those to kind of see where they cross, and that's where we're gonna put our post base connector. Ooh, we got it. Okay, I'm gonna pull tight. Okay, and then we'll come back through and just kind of touch these up with a mechanical pencil, just to sort of give us a backup so that we can see it a little bit better. Can you see that okay? Yep. Okay, good. We're just gonna go around and check them to make sure that that post base connector is not off center and there's a nice even reveal around. Yeah, I mean, these are all so close. I mean, we are within a 16th on that one. We are within an 1/8 on that one. I think over 10 feet, 12 feet, that is very respectable. I'm very happy with that. So now what I wanna do is I wanna check corner to corner. So the center of where those marks cross to the center of this one. Okay, hold it tight, and I'm gonna pull it nice and tight. We are 188 and 5/8. Okay? So same maneuver, go to there, hold it on the 1. Tell me when. I'm gonna pull tight. All right, we are 189 and 15/16. So over nearly 16 feet, we are out of square about 1/4 inch. And I think we can make that up pretty easily when we mount our hardware. Can you start unboxing a few, please? Thank you. And just be mindful of the fact that they do have a powder coat finish on them, so try not to scratch them, scuff them. So that timber to concrete connector is called an adjustable post base. I'm gonna bring them over here to our footings. I am gonna wanna orient it on the footing so that the open section of it runs this way. You can see that there's this sort of bean-shaped pocket in there. And what that does is it will allow us a little bit of flexibility in case we need to manipulate this to truly where we want it on the footing. We've got a 1/2 inch by 10 inch rotary hammer bit. That's good. And that's gonna be plenty long for this long fastener that we're gonna be installing. We're vacuuming up our concrete dust. Concrete has silica in it, and we wanna control that silica dust. But also we want to vacuum the dust out of the holes so that our fasteners get a really, really nice bite into the walls of the concrete and they're not hindered by that dust. We're going to use these heavy-duty Titan HD screw anchors from Simpson Strong Tie to bolt our post base connector down onto the concrete. It has an integrated washer that'll go underneath our bolt. I'm going to get it so that it's nearly tight, but it still gives us a little bit of flexibility to wiggle these around. Yeah, we can still move that. Once we have them in place, and then we're gonna finish it off by hand with a ratchet wrench. Make sure that front to back we're within tolerance here. I'm gonna slide this back a little bit. I'm gonna make a little reference line. Now we can go ahead and tighten this. Yeah, but that's it. I mean, it was close. Let's go to that corner next. We're good there to tighten this one. and make sure it's up high near the holes. Pull it nice and tight. All right, I'm gonna just kiss that line. Ready? Bingo. And I just wanna see, yes, exactly. And now we're gonna flip over that way. I wanna make sure that we are centered left to right. So I would like to slide this over 1/4 inch after double checking it. That's gonna be pretty good right there. Okay. Now that we have that first set of hardware bolted down where we want it, we wanna check corner to corner and make sure that we're square in line with these. All right, I'm 181 and an 1/8. Okay, so if you can go to that corner, nice and tight. Woo, we are at 181. We are within an 1/8, over about 15 feet, and I'm really happy with that. So the next thing we wanna do is bolt down the corners because we know they're set where we want them. Then we'll run the string line again and get this set where we want it. Okay, nice and tight. Okay, I can see there's a little bit of a gap here, so I do want to knock this hardware right back up against the line. And we're just kissing it, which is right where I want it. Perfect. If you could go over to the other side, please. Okay, so I do want to slide it over just a bit here. I think that's all we need. There's a few things that I really like about this adjustable post base. Number one, not only is this a structural component, but it is also a decorative one. You've got this nice detailing here, but what I really like is this integrated standoff. And it does have a weep hole on either side, and we want to make sure that these weep holes are oriented on the side of our bracket. And this will cover our fastener and give us a standoff so that our timber post is not sitting directly on concrete. It'll nest on this standoff. The concrete will hold moisture, and we don't want the end grain of our post wicking in any moisture off of that concrete. And that's great for long-term durability. So the next step is gonna be to set up a rotary laser and establish the elevation of our footings. So if you don't own a rotary laser with a receiver, you can rent one from a rental center. Some box stores have them as well. And if you don't want to use a rotary laser, you could also use a transit level. Some people call this a story pole, and this is what we're going to mount the receiver for the rotary laser right onto. So I'm just going to loosely get this thing set up, and then we're going to tone it in when we walk out to the footings. But I am going to turn it on to receive. Okay. I think that's the lowest so far. That's the highest. This one might be, okay, this is the highest. So starting with the highest one, I want to get this toned in. And I want to make sure that I'm plumb here. And I have an indicator on the back of the receiver that tells me when I'm toned in level. We are right there. So now what I want to do is I want to leave this receiver set. I'm going to pull this up to where it tones into level, and I want you to measure the distance between the bottom of the story pole and the top of the connector. Read the number right now. Okay. So we're gonna write plus 7/16 right on this. This is 7/16 lower than our first control point. And we're gonna repeat the process at the remaining 4 footings. Plus 3 5/16. Plus 3 5/8. Right there. We now have numbers recorded for how much timber we need to add so that the top of our pergola is level.